Hello. Hi, I'm John. I'm the character. So I'm going to set the bar pretty low. I'm Director of Sales for UK and Ireland at Eventbrite. Not the GM. He's maybe not aware of that yet. No, joking. I am going to go through my top learnings, mistakes that I've experienced over the last 10 years, from frontline selling to sales leadership, through 2 acquisitions and 1 recent IPO. And the typical company that I've worked for has been US startup, fast growth, West Coast headquartered with a structured US organization, and the UK being a minimal organization. Pretty light, but feels like it's a public counseling session, so we'll get it off my chest. The first tip is you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. My selling, my team selling, and actually my internal upwards management improved dramatically when I learned to embrace losing face. I feel that even top salespeople that I have feel like they have to have an answer for every question or every objection that a prospect or a senior leader puts to them. I started to perform a lot better when I started putting my hand up and saying, I'm sorry, I don't get it. Walk me through that. Why is that important? All the usual questions that you expect from a good discovery call, but everyone seems to run over to want to answer the question. So for me, I always say telling is not selling, and EQ trumps IQ every time. Tip 2 for high growth tech companies: get the CEOs and the founders out of the sales pitches as soon as possible. See tip 1, they're also fiercely intelligent, high IQ. They are so passionate about the product and heavily invested in it that they will typically not hear the pushback from prospects and want to run over them. You will never be good enough for them to let you loose. So as an upcoming sales director or sales manager, you will have an unachievable target, and that will be quite crushing to your confidence. And then lastly, if you're trying to scale, they will become a blocker to commercials or every big meeting, so you defeat the purpose of the objective in the first place. Tip 3, don't fear churn. When you first move into a sales management position, I got into the role and thought, I am going to retain 100% of this team for the first year, and that's my goal, and I'm going to coach everyone up to a certain standard. Firstly, it's just not possible, and secondly, it's not the right thing in a fast growth environment. The team that got you from 1 million to 5 million is probably not the team that's going to get you from 5 to 10 or 10 to 20, and that's okay. I don't go looking for churn, and in 2 companies I've experienced in my first 12 months, that cyclical nature of 100% churn, and it feels devastating, and it feels like you're on a sinking ship. But subsequently, the replacement to that team has had 100% retention for the next 2 to 3 years. There are cycles. Don't fear churn. Don't look for it. But if I was interviewing a new sales director and I asked them, how many difficult conversations have you had, or how many people have you had to manage out? And their answer was 0, because I always coach them round. You're not the man for me because you don't have enough battle scars, and that's not what I have experienced in fast growth environments. Was that 3? Number 4. Number 4, beware the drive to a shift to enterprise. This is the big one. I've seen it 3 times. I've seen a failure rate 3 times with pretty not devastating, that's a bit dramatic, with some very negative implications. So if you're truly in the enterprise space, this doesn't count for you, but if you're an average contract value of 50K, deals as low as 10K, sprinkling of 100 to 50K deals, and then the odd 1 million a year, at some point a shiny new global sales director or a VC is going to come in and saying, we're shifting to enterprise. I've seen it 3 times. For me, personal opinion, it's more of a vanity play. It probably sounds good in your series funding, but the reality is you hire in a shiny, real enterprise sales guy, but the product hasn't changed. They come in, they are not set up for success. They actually end up doing less volume of deals than your old team because they're used to doing lower volume, and the average deal size stays the same. So the three impacts are usually that person hits a performance management, probably leaves the company, pretty devastating for their confidence, and that's our fault, that's my fault. Secondly, the team that got you from that 0 to 1 million or 1 to 5 million, who took a risk and probably took low salary, high commission, have now seen you hire a shiny new toy for a much bigger package than they're on that didn't work out, so they're cheesed off. And I've taken a booking number on the basis that this enterprise guy is going to come in and average deal size 100K, so I'm missing my number. So it's 3 failures 3 times in a row, in my humble opinion. And then the last one is evolve or die. This is 2 tests that I'm looking to do next year. One I'm on the fence about, one I'm absolutely committed to, is looking at the wave of new talent, millennials coming through. If you read the book Drive by Daniel Pink and Motivation 3.0, I am coming to a hypothesis that I never thought I would, that perhaps the way we incentivize and pay salespeople is not structured for long-term retention or success. There's a lot of research out there that says if then rewards, i.e. do a deal, get this, works very well in the short term, and then starts to really perform negatively in the long term. The average tenure in sales is 18 months, so that's matches to that philosophy. I'm starting to look towards for my team next year, and I'm very much old school, 50-50 OTEs or low salaries, and I'll take 20% contract value, but I'm starting to try and listen to the research and the team coming through and position my sales guys on 70-30 splits or just 100% salary. That's very generous for the role you're in, on the basis you do good quality deals, the right type of deals, that you're actually buying in intrinsically to the company and what we're doing. And also, let's stretch their intellect. Let's move them into the Google 20% projects, Atlassian and Google. Get them focusing on a challenge that the company is not solving at the moment. Get them into an agile team, and let's use them in a much better way. That, I'm slowly coming around. The last point in terms of new talent, I feel that we as Eventbrite and me and my teams have done a great job in terms of gender diversity. What I've realized most recently is in terms of recent hiring, I'm probably losing a huge amount of talent because of what may be the archaic way of saying you must have a university degree. I've seen it at every company I've worked at. I've seen it in every application that I've made. And my days in recruiting for Jeremy Duggan, that was a definite thing that everyone does and probably still do. I still do it. The 2 things are, well, many things. Firstly, the cost of university at the moment. A lot of people are not going to go there. There's a lot of talent that now can no longer afford to do it that I will miss out on. There's some great apprenticeships out there that I will miss out on. People with an entrepreneurial spirit, I will miss out on. And it's hard to find good people out there. So the other unwitting result of that is by not having a university degree as a requirement or having it, you are unconsciously, which I've learned, discriminating against the BAME community, black and minority ethnicity, because if you look where we are in central London, Greater London, they're origins where it's not typical to go to university, there's not the financial structure, there's not the social mobility to allow them to get into that position. So I actually think where we've done lots of great stuff in terms of gender, we should be looking to implement changes to your hiring policy to account for that. So the things that I and our recruiting team are doing, no names on CVs, no educational background, just have pure experience in sales. And secondly, you should have and make sure you have in your shortlist both gender diversity and BAME diversity, otherwise you're missing out on a huge potential pool out there. Is that 7 minutes?